Okay. Welcome everyone. This is episode 3 of our special in which we're giving tribute to Zim Ngqawana. I won't try to say the click because I'm not from South Africa. I can't do the click. But Brian, you can tell how do we pronounce his last name? Yeah.
Ngqawana.
Yeah. But I'm gonna pour a little bit of beer for him for a member of our ancestors. So Brian, how's everything in South Africa? Is it warm there or cold or hot? It's hot there now, right?
No ways. How can it be hot at the
No,
States and here as well? It can't be.
no, it's
We
warm.
we approach we
Oh
are
yeah, you guys
approaching
are in winter.
winter.
Yeah, you guys are in
We
winter.
are
You're on different
approaching
side.
winter.
Yeah. So we're
Yeah.
starting. So everybody, yeah, I keep forgetting. So winter starts around April, May for you guys, and that's when our spring starts. And then you won't get
Yeah.
hot again until Woza December. But anyway, we're about to get hot up in
Yeah.
here. So we're talking about Zim Ngqawana, the South African jazz musician who's more than a jazz musician. He plays traditional South African spiritual music and folk music through the lens of jazz, but he also goes into the blues. And today we're going to talk about the blues. So I want to start by saying that when people think about the blues, they think about the American blues, like She Give Me Money, that type of thing, like Kanye West, which is the formal blues. But there's the blues before that, which is sort of like what you see people do on slave fields or in prison gangs where they're shouting and they have feeling. Then there's one that goes even deeper, which is the Ngoma or the Sangoma, the experience when you go into trance, which is pure pain. So very quickly, the blues does not express pain. I don't want to say that because pain is serious and no art can express pain. But it's a music that Black people use to express their feelings about pain, which solves the problem. So I don't want us to ever say that Zim or anybody else can tell us the pain that we've been through as Black people. That pain can't be spoken, but the music can come very close. But also the blues is found in other music, hip hop, R&B, and everything. So Brian, we want to start with a song of yours that you have, which is Paradoxia.
Yeah.
And I want us to listen to it. I want people to realize the name is perfect because it's Paradoxia and it's an upbeat song, but it's also dark, but it contains elements of the blues. So let's get started with that. Also, thank you for showing up again. Yeah.
Okay. Let me not waste any time. Let me get to it.
Yeah. So we'll listen. I'll be drinking while I listen, and I'll be saying, "Yo, go ahead." Yeah.
In the fire on this one. It's in the fire on this one. Been in the fire thing. Been in the fire thing. Okay. Yeah, king. Drop as we hear. Okay. Drop as we hear. Name one new school that sounds like me. All I see is head nods or Name one new school that sounds like me. All I see is head nods or head nods. To be frank, I'd had to change my name.
I don't hear the instrumental. Maybe it's not on. Is the instrumental on? I don't hear it on the side.
I don't see myself new, cause I've been here before. When all highs just there, I cannot tell. Tell me something new if you really know me.
Don't worry, leave it like that.
Nah. I said, tell me something new if you really know me. I said, tell me something new if you really know me. What's that? Because you knew the phone, but you didn't tell me. That's just life, cause we knew it. They'll know it every time, but this is how we know it. All I really know is me, that's me, isn't it? That's why I want to be, cause we knew this forever. Knew where we come from, what are we, where are we going? Knew Remy Fa Sol La Ti New. All I really want to know is can this new start? For those who have an art and a thing for this art, don't let the new pull you apart. The man knew and mistook his wife for a hat. Shouldn't have said that. Shouldn't have said that. But if you're looking for this art, it comes from the heart, then but if you're it comes from the heart, then name one new school that sounds like me. All I see is head nods or head nods. To be frank, I'd had to change my name. For most of you don't know me. Matter of fact, I don't see myself new, cause I've been here before. When all house just still I cannot tell. Tell me something new if you really know me. Still I cannot tell. Tell me something new if you really know me. If you stay, you knew's gonna ride your wild horses. You will know who the old boss is. Then you can be very careful of them. You can't you let them tell them you. But what about my vision? You lost voices that come from below. Look, news talking, lost was parking, news on first. That's good news to people without bad news. But when will we be free? Free from the iPhones, free from the high for you are behind with the times. The 293s and the 393. Cause nothing is ever new under the sun. To fire town to a soul at 10. Not ganja, oh, I made it sense. But still remains the same. We go around the sun 360 days. Not the last 5 calls after Christmas is a new year. Yeah, that's about it. 360. Yeah. Name one new schooler that sounds like me. All I see is head nods or head nods. To be frank, I'd had to change my name for most of you. Matter of fact, I don't see myself new, cause I've been here before. When all harsh, that's the story I cannot tell. Tell me something new if you really know me. Tell me something new if you really know me.
Okay, good. So the only thing is that the vocals, that was great. The vocals unbelievable, but the sound of the instrumental didn't go through. I think that's Zoom, but you could hear it from your side, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I could. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was jamming. That's a bomb. And I wanted to tell Vuyo to take his guitar and start. So Vuyo, follow us now. Get to your guitar. Play us a blues right now for a few seconds before we talk to this young man. Okay. Thank you very much, Brian. Yeah.
Oh.
How are you guys, man?
Oh yes, we forgot to greet you. Very good, very good. Thank you,
Oh,
thank you for
good,
joining
yeah.
us. Yeah, we're talking about the blues today, and Vuyo, I know you know about the blues, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. It's even like the stuff that you've been sending me, Muddy Waters. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you. Muddy Waters. Yeah.
Like the links that you've been sending me from the track My Baby's Gone, I was checking that version of but by Muddy Waters,
Yeah.
And man, it's a totally like it's a different style from what we used to,
Yeah, that's what they call the old. Sorry, that's the old American blues, and it comes from Mali. That's the Mississippi blues. Yeah, go continue. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Beautiful, man, beautiful, beautiful. Even like I found out that the tuning is different, completely different.
Yeah, I know you're a musician, but they use the flatted fifths. But it's weird. It's like a flatted fifth, but it has a sort of sound that's very difficult to reproduce just by any instrument. You have to have some type of attack to the instrument itself to bring that sort of sound. It's very ancient. Yeah.
True, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's see. I don't know, because they basically variations and loops from what I've been checking out.
Yeah.
So.
But the main thing is to play what you feel. But we already know you've meditated on it, so we just want to hear what you feel. It doesn't have to be exactly like that, because what we're doing is we're taking Zim's approach in which we listen to music and we create our own thing from improvisation, and we all have our own blues and everything like that. So that sound is crazy. I wish we had the thing was working better, the sound. But we'll hear what you have to play. Yeah. Okay.
In that case, sorry, man. Let me just switch on the guitar and take another guitar.
Okay, yes, that's the guitar, rock and roll.
But then here, I guess I'm gonna start with a ballad type of blues,
Okay.
And then as we go on, later on we're gonna venture into that old style and
old school. Yeah, you've heard that song by Zim, "Old Harmonic Blues." It's crazy, man. Yeah, but let's go on. Yeah,
crazy, man. So now I'll play "There Will Never Be Another You."
Okay, yeah, that's a standard. Yeah, by who is it? Who is this?
by Kenny Barrell's version.
Kenny Burrell, yes. Yes, yes.
Okay, cool, man. Cool, man. Is the sound clear?
I can hear you, yes, yeah. Whoa. Thank you. And I love that song. The one I remember is by Chet Baker. There will never be another one like you. I love it, but I like your interpretation. And I like the scale you did at the end. Thank you. That's a musical offering for Zim again. Kenny Burrell. There will never be another you. Very beautiful. So let's jump into it. I want to thank you, Vuyo, for showing up. And I want to thank Brian for showing up. I almost missed you guys' name. I had some wine. Today we're talking about the blues. So what I've noticed, I'm going to start. So Vuyo, we're going to talk about your song, but I want to go to Brian first because he came first. So Brian, you played a hip hop song called Paradoxia. And I'm telling people the blues can't be defined. It's a spectrum. So rock and roll is the blues, R&B is the blues, hip hop is the blues, jazz is the blues, but they are different. And the thing about the blues is that it's very flexible. But I want to start off by talking about the fact that the blues is supposed to talk about pain, but it's a solution to pain. So what I want to say, Vuyo, and maybe you'll agree with me, the blues or no art can ever express pain as it really is. But as Black people, what we do is we create the blues to mimic the pain, but to give a solution. But it's never the same pain that what we went through. What I went through in America, living in a racist country, what you went through in South Africa with violence and apartheid and everything. Nobody can ever say the pain because it's too painful. But what we have is we have the blues. So now I want you to speak a little bit about that, Vuyo. What do you think about that? And the blues is an art form which does not wallow in pain. It finds a solution for it, but it can go anywhere. What are your thoughts? Yeah.
Of course, man. It's an experiment. It's an experience.
Yeah.
It's an everyday thing.
Yeah.
It's this conversation.
Yes, it is. Yeah. And here's the thing. We have the blues, but we're still smiling and we have rhythm. Even the way we talk is the blues. It's a conversation. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to go there, when you said that, like we as much as we've got, we all have the pain, man. We all of us,
Yeah.
We all have our blues. We go through them every day,
Yes.
Yeah, but then as much as you've said it, that it doesn't really hit the core,
Of what the real pain is. Yeah.
It the real pain is, because only you and your emotions can actually feel that,
Yeah.
It's like you own truth, basically.
Yeah. So
But
I want to
now,
pivot. Sorry, go ahead. I cut in front of you. Very sorry. Go ahead. Yeah. Yeah.
we're using it as a tool, just like art, at any other, like
Yeah.
as another form of expression, that, yeah, to send that message.
So what I want to say is that song you played, "There Will Never Be Another You," it's very melancholy. So the melancholy is lyrical. Real pain is not lyrical, but the blues can be lyrical. And what you played was very lyrical, but it was sad. I almost wanted to cry. I'm not joking. It was sad, but it was lyrical, and it was very, very beautiful, especially with the voicings you did on your guitar. Then the last melody that you did at the end. And what I liked is that you did the standard, and I heard it because I don't know if you've heard Chet Baker's voice. "There will never be another you," but the way you did it was very beautiful. So now I want to go to talk about what Brian's song, Paradoxia. So Brian, what you used in your song, remember I told you used call and response, which is part of the blues. Call and response is part of Black music. And I asked you, were there two different voices? And you said, no, it was both your voices and you were responding. But your song is happy, but cynical at the same time. Can you tell us about the song, about the process and what it means to you, Brian? Yeah.
Well, I don't think there's anything that I can explain further. The title of the song says it
Paradoxia.
by its own.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you listen when the song begins, I say that what you're about to hear is old. And then I go on to talk about all these new
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
And I like because
it's sort
the
of
way you
paradoxical.
It's paradox. And your lyrical style, I'm not saying you copy, but your lyrical style reminds me a lot about Slick Rick. And I don't believe in copying. What it means is that you channeled whatever spirit he has. But whatever spirit he has is not his spirit. It's the spirit of the original human being. And I liked it because it was like Slick Rick. Here's a little story that I got to tell. And it was sort of like the Joker. But the Joker is a very
Yeah.
dark, the Joker is a
It's
dark,
playful.
yeah. And
Yeah,
it's
it's
playful, but
playful.
it's still dark. So now I'm going to forgive me, guys, because I jump from place to place. So what I want to say is that what I've seen is that there's four levels of the blues. To me, that the most religious level of the blues is soul music and gospel. But the rawest form is what slaves and what people in jail and what people who work on the farms or people who worked in South Africa and in Nigeria and in the US who had to work on farms during apartheid and during racism. When they start to sing, they start to shout. That's the closest thing you're going to get to pain. You know what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
Vuyo? Like that song Kubi by Zim. This Madness. That's the rawest blues. Then the next level is the Mississippi blues, like "She Give Me Money Is What I Need." And then the next level is like R&B and pop. Then the level that becomes like God is soul and gospel. So I always say soul music is saying, "I love you, my wife or my son or my friend." Gospel is saying, "I love you, God." So that's the highest level of the blues. Do you have any thoughts about that, Vuyo? Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so, man. And like you put it so beautifully. I wasn't even aware that they had four levels.
Yeah, there may even be
So I'm
more. It's a
actually like,
spectrum. Vuyo, very quickly, I think it's a spectrum. I only identified four. There's many more. There's millions. Funk
yeah,
music, yeah, everything. Who's that guy from Holland who plays the bass guitar? The guy from Holland, the black guy that plays the bass guitar. I forgot his name. But what I'm saying is that it goes to, but so there's more than four levels. There's more than four levels. It's just the four that I know. I'll find out his name, but let's go back to the blues shout. Go ahead. Yeah, I'll find out his name. Yeah, continue talking. I'm going to look his name up on Google. Yeah.
No. I think you're talking about Willie Dixon.
Vutas. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah. Let me find out if I have it.
Yeah, man. I'm not. I'm not sure if we're talking about the same person.
He's a black guy, but he plays bass guitar, and he's very good. He's from Holland. I'm trying to remember his name. Let me see.
He also sings.
Yeah, let me see. Bass guitar is from Holland. Let me check. Yeah, you guys, you're watching a real improvisation right here. I'll get his name now.
Yeah, true story.
Okay,
yeah.
No problem.
Let me see if I can get his name. Yeah, they don't have him here. Bass guitarist from Holland, black bass guitarist. But anyway, so the point I was making though is that there's many levels. So for example, rock and roll has the blues in it, but it's high tempo, everything. So my thing is that human beings are chameleons. Africans are chameleons. So the blues can take any color. Like blue is green. To be honest with you, green is blue is purple, red. It's all the same color. It just has different expressions. So what you see with gospel music is soul. Soul is more religious, like God, or what you call it, like Mahalia Jackson when she sings gospel. But when you hear like the type of Muddy Waters, it's raw. It's very raw. But then when you hear the field shot, like when Coltrane goes and starts screaming, that's what I call. It's not even the blues. It's what comes before the blues. It's a lot of pain. But what I'm saying is that the original pain, we can't find it. What are your thoughts, Brian? Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. And instead of telling a story, many blues artists, you know, they express their feelings through the music. And I think the most popular and the most well-known sentiment that blues artists may express will be sadness and melancholy, which
Melancholy and sadness.
often
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, which is often mistaken for blues. And as you are saying, blues has many levels.
Yeah.
And these those feelings are primarily involved in love, but they can extend to other problems in life as well,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So many people would have been going through rough times emotionally and seem to gravitate towards that music, you know. And blues sort of like encapsulates everything that they may have been feeling during that time. And yeah, it could be relatable through music, or maybe the emotions that they felt, and through the artist's use of different vocals, you know, the rhythms, the instrumental, the
Yeah.
techniques.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very quickly, Vuyo, Victor Wooten.
Oh,
You know him.
Victor Wood. Yeah, I
That's
know
him.
Victor Wood.
So what I'm saying is that
Yes.
he's also playing. Sorry to interrupt you, Brian, but I had to get that. Victor Wooten. So he plays funk, and so Brian, you made a very important thing. The real blues is what Muddy Waters. I'm gonna say it again. She gives me money, but what I'm saying is that the other ones, they're not actually the real blues, but they are children of that blues. But I think that the ultimate music is the scream. Somebody was talking about it the other day where they said that Zim became tired of instruments and then he started to yell. Coltrane did it. That's called pain. It's not the blues, but that pain travels from the original point. It goes into blues. It goes into R&B. All of these music have melancholy, which is pain. So what we're saying is that the root of blues is pain. It's pain, but it's a solution to pain, which is why I say what you have suffered in South Africa, no one can speak. What I have suffered in America, no one can speak. That's why I drink wine. Brian, what you have suffered, what you have to do, you have to go work. And we have to do this show and we're in pain. Nobody can speak. But what we can do is we can honor it through the blues. What are your thoughts, Vuyo? Then we'll go to Brian. Yeah, yeah.
That's beautiful, you know. It's like you have to embrace, man, and move within the chaos, you know.
Yeah.
And it's these studies that I learned from meditation,
Yeah.
and so on.
Meditation, yeah.
But then and then yeah. Because it for me to make this thing personal, you know,
Yeah.
uh I have to literally like succumb myself to like to that feeling at that time, you know, and
Yeah, and it's very
then
painful. I almost want to cry now. It's very painful. And sometimes I feel like I want to die. I feel like I want to die. And if not for music, and poetry, I would be dead. I will be dead. That's what I really have to say. Continue. Thank you for sharing the pain. Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, and I mean it goes beyond our understanding, you know.
So
Because
well, it's spiritual. It's spiritual. It's a gift from God. Yes.
yeah, I mean, like it's you who feels these things at the end, you know, which means like you're a deep thinker and a deep feeler, you know. It
Yeah.
affects you personally.
Yeah.
So you have to find a way somewhere, one way or another,
Yeah.
to express it and
Yeah.
and find a way to let it go, man, and release it, you know.
Yeah.
So what's the best ultimate?
Yeah. So I want to go quickly. I want to go back to there's a song by Kanye West, Jesus Walks. And if you listen to the song, for the pimp, for the drug dealer, for the prostitute, for the man who wants to commit suicide, Jesus walks for them. And if you listen to that song, it's talking about what you just said. What do you think, Brian? Yeah.
Yeah, that's true, you know. I believe that artists and musicians communicate their thoughts and experiences of the world via their compositions, you know.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's the role of the audience to interpret the artist's creation or what they think the artist is saying to them, you know, so
Yes.
that they can connect with their message.
Yeah.
And yeah, music can communicate a musician's internal world, and it
External.
offers insights on
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
they or a group represents position
Yeah.
itself in the world relative to
Yeah.
others. Yeah.
And also, I want to add this. So, like when a musician makes a song, sometimes I believe that every good musician is in a trance. And when you're in a trance, it goes beyond what you wanted to say. Because at that moment, it's just like the sangomas. When you go into a trance, if I'm a sangoma and I'm trained and my name is Moose, when I'm singing or when I'm in trance, it's not me anymore. It's my ancestors. And I don't have control over it. And that's, I think, the most powerful form. So I'm going to go back to your song, Brian, Paradoxia. You're in that song, you're a trickster spirit because you have that bouncy sort of call and response and sort of clever and playful, but there's pain in it. But at that moment, and like you said, what did you say was the beginning? What's the beginning word at the beginning of the song again? What was the beginning words again, Brian? Yeah.
Before I begin reciting my lyrics, I state that what you're about to hear is old.
Okay, so let me stop there. Old.
Yeah.
That means it goes
Yeah.
back to the ancient times. And what you have just done is that you have invoked the ancestral spirit. And when you were doing that rap, it wasn't you. It was not you. It was
Yeah.
the old. I'm not being funny. It wasn't you. It was the old spirit. And I like what you did. You used call and response. So now what's going to happen is because at the beginning of this show, we only heard the vocal, but that vocal was bad, wasn't it, Vio? That vocal was bad. It was great. It was bad. So, but what I'm going to do is at the beginning of this show, I'm going to play your song in the beginning. And also that other song you did, Joburg State of, is it Joburg State of Mind, not Josie?
Yeah.
You said now is the time. What was the first words? Now is the time? Or what was the first words again? At the beginning of the song.
It's time. It's
time. If you notice, you're starting with time and now we're going to the beginning. Time has no beginning, but you go back to the beginning of time. And there's something you use in your music, which is the horn. Bum, 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 bum. That's the call. That's the ancestral call. So now we're running out of time because you know what? It's time for me to go to work and they're going to fire me because I'm drinking beer. But now what we're going to do is we're going to be back next week. But Vuyo is going to take us out with one more offering before we go. Thank you guys. Yeah.
Okay.
Most definitely.
Okay, bless us, Vuyo.
No, bless us, Brian. Thank you, and I mean this from my heart. I love you, and I love you too, Vuyo. I love you guys. And we were here at the beginning when we did the first show, and we'll be here at the end, and we're going to be here for a long time. We're going to be here before time. Other people are going to be talking about what we're talking about, but they're not going to say it's us because it's not us. It's our ancestors. Continue on, Vuyo. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Don't worry about it, man. But Vuyo, I'm glad I remember that guy's name. Victor Wooten. Yeah.
Oh, Victor Wooten. Isn't he the violinist?
He might play violin too. He plays string instruments. He plays a lot of instruments.
Oh, yeah, I think I know.
Yeah. But I'll send you his music afterwards, and we'll talk more about him the next time we meet next week. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Oh man. Man, you almost made me cry. Brian, did you hear that? Did you hear that?
Yo,
Now
powerful.
that's the real blues. A little bit like when Kanye said, "She gives me money," dun 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 dun. And what Vuyo said, you can't notate that. We don't know how to explain that in musical terms. Dum 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 dum. You hear it in country music. You hear it in the U.S. They call it the twang. Twang dun dun. That was bad. And your cadence and your rhythm. I want to say one more thing. People think that the blues is a lyrical song. It's also a drum. But Black people weren't allowed to use drums when they came to America. They used the guitar. If you look at the old songs, they even beat the guitar like a drum because you were using polyrhythms. Two things. I'm going to start with Brian. What's your response to that? Then we'll talk to Vuyo.
Yeah, it was a great one. I didn't know Vuyo could do that.
I know Vuyo. I've known him for 8 years. I know this young man.
He's a very talented individual. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, very quickly, they call that the Mississippi blues. People in the U.S. who are Mississippi, they came from West Africa. If you go to Mali, it's the same music, and it has Islamic influence. Like, when they say Allahu Akbar, you can hear that tone in the guitar. Black slaves brought that from West Africa. And like I said, you hear it in that song by Kanye, "She gives me money." It's a field shout. But that's the real blues right there. So I'll let you finish, Brian, then we'll go to Vuyo, then we'll head out. Yeah.
This is an eye-opener, actually. Goes on to show that blues is a genre that contains strong themes of
and it's flexible. It's very flexible. And also the blues the real blues uses bars, like in rapping. How many bars? Like I think it's 8 or 16 bars, and each bar has it's like hip hop. It has bars, and that's what he just did.
Yeah, it is a strongly expressive art, and
it only has one or two elements. It only has one or two elements, the bars and 3 or 4 notes. But within those 4 or 5 things, you can do variation. Yeah, sorry I cut in front of you. You can continue. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a strongly expressive art form, and through which the musicians can document history, cultural history.
Pain.
Pain. Yeah.
I'm going to go to you, Vuyo. Vuyo, I'm sure you've heard this before. Vuyo, what tribe are you from in South Africa? Are you Xhosa or Zulu or what tribe are you? Yeah.
Xhosa.
Yeah. You've heard field songs before where people are on the field and they're working and they start to sing because the singing is the only thing that can get them through the work.
Yeah, man. True.
And also you hear it in the U.S. they call it chain gangs, guys who went to prison for violence. But it sounds the same as Black Americans who were on the field as slaves, or even us who have to do work. All of us have to do work that we don't want to do. Yeah.
With me, I could relate because in my culture, of course, I would go through initiation, and all that, the mountains.
Yeah.
So we have these songs, that we sing, and that's practically that's our blues, Ngqawana, that's his blues. Yeah.
That's his blues. So, and we all have difference, but we'll all say. I want to say I'm not taking a side, but I want to say that the real blues is what you played, the Mississippi blues, which came from America because we were slaves and we were brought to America to work for white people on their farms. They castrated us, they killed us. But what I'm saying is that Farther back is Xhosa tradition, Yoruba, Zulu, where you have chants. But that's raw pain. But I'm going to go back. Even that pain doesn't express the original pain. No one can do the original pain. Like, you know what they say in Buddhism? You can't say the name of God. God's name cannot be repeated. But the blues is a spectrum. And because of the blues, we have R&B, we have funk, we have everything. I want to thank you guys for coming here. And I want to say that even after this month is over for Zim, this was the month Zim died, May. We're going to do another Zim show in December, the month that he was born. We're going to do it again. And in between that, every other month, we're going to do music. And I want to thank you guys. You guys are my brothers because you were here with me with the beginning. I'm going to repeat it. There were a lot of fancy musicians who said, oh, we're not going to work with you guys. And you guys are great musicians and you worked with us. And like Brian said, he said he didn't know that Vuyo could do that. I know Vuyo. And here's the thing. Vuyo is primarily a poet. He's not even primarily a musician. He can do everything. Same thing with Brian. Brian writes, he knows sports, he does music. He's a photographer, he's a painter. Brian is a painter. Now me, I'm just a talker. I'm just a talker. And I love you guys, but I'm a visionary. The reason I say I'm a visionary is because I see the Godhood in you guys. So tonight, before I go, I'm going to use a Buddhist statement. Namaste to you guys. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. And you guys, I don't want to, we're going to be back. Also, Brian, we made it. We were nervous about this show today. We made it. And I want to give Brian credit because we were nervous, but when
work themselves out,
Yeah, it's God. But my definition of God, I'm not going to lie to you, is my ancestors. The ancestors of every human being. And hopefully the rest of the world can learn that every human being is Black. Every human being is Black. Every human being is Black, but we have to remember that. So I want to say sorry that we have to cut it short, but I enjoyed this show and we're going to be back next week. You guys, man, go get some ganja or some beer or go talk to your girlfriend or whoever. Have a good day. I love you guys. We'll talk later. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
We appreciate
Thank you very much. I appreciate you too very much. I love you guys. Bye-bye. Okay.